Welcome to Creating from the Heart, the Artistry of Living. I'm Suzy Vance, and I'm here with Rob McGowan today at McGowan Seafood in Valparaiso. It's a great place, one of my favorites. I'm a Tuesday patron. So, Rob, how did this happen? I mean, all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, here it was.
Yeah, well, so I met my wife, Leslee, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and she's originally from here. We met and promptly moved out to California together and lived out there for a while. We came back here in 2005, and Leslee's family owned a trucking business. Previous to that, I was working as a chef, and Leslee was doing marketing and advertising and a number of other things. So coming back here and kind of getting thrown into the trucking industry was
different.
Very different, yeah. And we survived through the recession in 2008, mostly due to Leslee's business acumen and
awesome.
And penny pinching, which that's how we made it. And let's face it, neither one of us had a real passion for that business, but it was family business. It was really being thrown into it and having to learn on the fly.
Oh yeah. So you're good at that.
Well, we both knew, and we've been talking for years about what would we really like to do, and we tossed around. Leslee has experience as an esthetician, and so we talked about doing kind of a spa and restaurants. At one point I was like, I'm going to have a soup cart, and so there was lots and lots of ideas about. We both know that we love entertaining, we love food, and throwing a good party, and we got out of the trucking business in 2016. And started looking for, we kind of hit on it. We by this point have two young sons, and they really developed a taste for sushi and crab legs and scallops and salmon.
You taught them well.
Yeah, well, we like to eat, and we wanted to, point them in the right direction. We joke about how, if we didn't open the fish market, no one's going to college, because we were spending, once a month we were driving into the city to get, get fish and seafood.
I do.
And there was, that's something that we both love, and there wasn't anything like that around, really, Northwest Indiana.
There isn't.
So we kind of, over years, sort of put together our plan, and
what made you finally take the leap?
Well, I think both of us learned that we're better doing our own thing than being an employee, I guess. Really.
There you go.
I think that, really in the trucking business, once we kind of got that taste of owning the business.
Setting your own hours, being responsible, all that kind of thing, and the buck stops here.
Yeah.
And everybody always thinks that working for the man will be better, because in the long run it's not up to you.
Right.
But it really is. And here you are.
Yeah, I did I want to say junior achievement at the kids' school a few years back before the pandemic, and it was different people in different professions and talking about. And I think this was actually talking about how you use math in your job. But, but one of the things that I told the kids, and I even got a letter back from one of the students saying that this really stuck with them, is that when you own your own business, it's really up to you how much if you're going to succeed or not. It's how much work you're going to put in, and. Obviously, there's some other factors the last 3 years that influence how business gets done. But that's the thing that I think Leslee and I both really like most about taking this leap and owning the fish market is that we, it's up to us.
Right.
If it's going to succeed, we have to.
You have to be here.
We have to do
and
it.
And when somebody else doesn't show up, it's yours.
Sure, that, and and it's also constantly coming up with new ideas
Right.
and new offerings and new things.
Things like lobster rolls.
Lobster rolls today, yep. We started just recently doing a fish fry, and and really,
Awesome.
with the pandemic has really changed things up for us a lot because the room we're sitting in is our little party room.
Right.
We would do pre-pandemic. We were doing cooking classes once a month. We were doing, we would try to do a pop-up dinner.
Yeah.
Once a month. We did wine tastings, a lot of fun events back here, and we would rent this out for private parties. Obviously, none of that happened.
When are the cooking classes
Right.
coming back?
Well, one of the things that we came up with, Leslie calls it "Bring Your Bubble." We started doing, we tried to have a few events, a few cooking classes, and let's face it, people just really aren't comfortable getting into a room full of strangers still at this point. So
you ought to do it for groups that sign up for group
yeah,
events.
exactly. So Leslie's idea was bring your bubble. So we encourage groups of 10 or 12. What's our 10?
Nice.
Yeah. To come in. We just did our first one this last Saturday. It was a lot of fun. So that was that's a good example of kind of rolling with the punches and
Creating,
figuring out,
thinking of outside the box, all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is fabulous. This is great. So do you have any advice for somebody who's stuck, who's trying to figure out how to get out of whatever they're doing or get into something they love?
Sure. I think that you said it. Think of something that you really love. We had an enormous amount of help from the Indiana Small Business Development Council, and there was a number of people that really helped us with just kind of it's one thing to have I got this great idea I want to
Right.
Let's do a fish market, right? But there's other things that go. You need to have a business plan. You need to have the right resources. We looked for a building for.
I was going to say, how did you find this?
Well, we were looking for a building, Chesterton. I mean, we were looking up in Beverly Shores, and we looked here. We looked downtown, and just through some contacts we met through the Small Business Development Council, we just happened on a woman who was a realtor who knew another realtor that owned this building. It was just sort of a network that we just got very fortunate
No kidding.
and found this is the perfect location for us. So I think that my advice would be don't be afraid to use resources. The Small Business Development Council is great, and they're
And be curious and asking questions and letting the universe know you're ready.
That's yes, exactly. I think if you put that out there to the universe, and you're positive about it, things will.
One little step,
things will
and
happen.
things will come.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rod,
You're
for
welcome.
sharing. It's been great.
Yeah. Thanks.
Creating from the Heart, the Artistry of Living, Rod McGowan. Be sure to visit McGowan's at address?
1607 Burlington Beach in Valparaiso.
Great. See you later. Bye.
Bye.